November 19, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It was volatile and pretty choppy. There was only one piece of economic data that came out, which is around 11 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here. It was the Fed FOMC meeting minutes from last month, which they decided to, I think, cut rates by about 0.25%. And so nothing really happened. And you could argue that maybe it caused the sell-off, but it was a very choppy sell-off. There was a few trades that I marked out, but I ended up not taking any trades today, and a few almost trades. So I'm going to get into that right now. I don't think I was, when I woke up today, I wasn't quite, well, I just kind of could tell I wasn't quite in tune, so I didn't really want to risk it. Plus, there were some things I had to take care of, so I did get out from my desk a couple times. So that just kind of disrupts the flow and the trading. So I knew I didn't really want to tempt that. So the pre-market, this is just choppy. Looks like it was pushed down, 2 legs up, and then a third leg up, sell off, 1 leg down, push down. This kind of looks like a spike in a channel. Then it's sold off on this yellow down channel. This yellow down channel kind of hits the low, creates a first entry short, then it reverses back up, pushes through the EMA and pushes through this yellow down channel. Now, as I say kind of frequently, there are like second entries all over the place, but contextually, they might not be the best setups. So it is a new low here. It's technically a first entry short, but looks like a visual first entry short pullback, second entry short. Second entry short also fails, but this setup is technically correct in the second entry short failures and second entry shorts as well as second entry longs. But this is just a setup that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Hits a high side, creates this first entry long pullback. You technically have a second entry long confirmed on this candle, but it didn't have a good signal bar. It is bouncing off the EMA. I did draw this touch, 2 touch, 3 touch as a potential trend line going up. So it starts pushing up. There's no real clear way that I could see to enter on this. I turned this trend line into a trend channel, which fit pretty nicely down to about right here. So again, there's no real clean second entries. You have a lot of first entries, pushes up. It's a failed breakout on here, moves to the side, and it keeps going up. So at this point, I wasn't too sure that this orange up channel was actually in play. So I thought maybe it was in this gray channel, which touch. So you start to swing here, first touch, second touch. And the high side, I actually had it a little bit tighter, something like here. So I was trying to keep this from being an overshoot. And as it pressed up, I kept dragging it out because it didn't act like an overshoot, never came back. You have a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long on this candle, but again, this is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This orange up channel isn't established yet. I haven't drawn it yet. Here, I finally established this orange up channel. Looks like it's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, so it's fitting pretty well. Unfortunately, there's no clean way to enter. Plus, it's pressing and making new high of days. Unfortunately, there's no real way that I could find to enter this and ride this up. So technically, you do have a first entry long. It looks like a visual first entry, second entry, but it just wasn't the cleanest setup. It helped confirm this 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4th touch of this gray up channel. So this gray up channel is looking pretty good right now. The breakout of this orange up channel, so it's testing the high. But as I said, or as I noticed before, things are just kind of moving sideways. Breaks up and out. Now it's breaking out of this orange up channel. There's a failed breakout of this orange up channel, kind of create a corresponding failed breakout here. Comes down. I was expecting a bounce off the EMA and another resumption of prices continuing into the gray up channel because it looks like it's just 1 leg pullback, another gigantic leg. So here I'm watching carefully. It breaks out. It actually pushes below the EMA. So it actually creates a potential first entry long, confirms first entry long, pullback. I'm wondering if it's going to create a second entry long. But since they're closing below the EMA now, if it does create a second entry long, I want to take a higher low confirmation. So there's right here actually creates a first entry long, and by the technical count, it's a second entry long because this It's actually higher than this, but it's a poor setup, so you definitely have to wait for a higher low. So I'm looking for a higher low. Now I don't think higher low is going to show up, and it breaks down and below. So now I'm abandoning going long, or the thought of going long right now, and just waiting. Again, you just get a bunch of first entries. Prices look like they're moving down this yellow down channel. You have localized low, first entry short, and it looks like it's in a trading range now. So fail breakout, I'm expecting prices to move to the high side of this blue trading range, but it doesn't. It keeps breaking down and moving down. So now I think the dominant path is inside this yellow down channel. There's a kind of a small break here, but it could easily be seen as a touch rejection. EMA is starting to hold prices down. Unfortunately, there was no clean way to enter this, and it's kind of heartbreaking. Not heartbreaking, but it does give me FOMO because if you could enter this somehow, it looks like it's a nice, clean push down where you, if you did trade a runner, you might have been able to try to catch a runner. So I'm just watching this, watching and hoping for a move back to this green down channel, which I think is where prices are moving now, because I'm thinking it used to be this yellow one, then it transitioned to this green one. I only have a bounce, but there's no setup. So it pushes up and touches the EMA. So technically, I have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Then it reverses. And it gives you a second entry short right here. Visual, because I counted this as localized low. Visual, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. It's not a really good signal bar. Confirms right here, but it's an almost trade, if at all. At best, it's an almost trade. Finally, it gives you kind of a lower high right here. So this lower high I actually thought was a possible trade. It confirms the visual first entry short, second entry short, break of the orange up channel. Try to make this cleaner. Okay, break of the orange up channel has tested the high. So the uptrend has tested and completed. Now this green down channel has to test the low. And overall bias is bearish. It is selling off. So I'm expecting a test of this low. And you see this setup. It looks like it's potentially in a trading range. It might be a failed breakout here. It looks like it was a visual first entry, second entry, and then it gives you a lower high right here because it pushed up, failed, and pushed down. Presses and pushes through completely the low of this range. You're going with the bias. Now it could bounce and reverse back up. I'm thinking there's at least enough room for a quick 2-point scalp. It pushes down and through. So I wasn't fast enough and I wasn't 100% sure. I think what caused me a little bit of fear was this is right at the low of this range. So I was still thinking there's a possibility it could bounce and resume inside this trading range. But this one kind of showed that this one had enough momentum. You have the bias going with you. Context looks like it's played out because this green down channel has to test the low. Orange has already tested the high. I shouldn't have, I think, second guessed it too much. Prices then continue moving. You get a second entry short here, but I call it an almost trade. Visual first entry short, second entry short. I just like that it touched the EMA and rejected, but it was a bad signal bar, so couldn't take it. Then prices move sideways. EMA is clearly acting as kind of a little bit of resistance now. You get a multiple test here, but I couldn't do anything with this because there's one touch, two touch, three touch. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long, the thing I didn't really like about this is, although it's multiple tests, you do have just enough room to scalp out before you hit the highs. It's not the best signal bar. EMA is a little ambiguous, and plus, technically, you're counter trend trading. I'd be kind of picking the lows and hoping I'm correct, so I didn't really like that. Prices then chop sideways, pushes up. Potential fail breakout of this trading range. Also at this point, I was thinking, is there a bigger channel in play? I couldn't quite get it to start from up here cleanly because it would have just been this yellow one. It would just jet down here. So I try to fit this one here. One touch, two touch, third touch. But I'm not that convinced or that excited about this gray channel at the moment because these two touches happened pretty early. And this one's much, much later. So you could essentially think it's just pretty much one touch, two touch, even though there's two tiny touches here. So potential fail breakout of this trading range. Prices flush down. I don't know what caused this. Bounces, and it kind of keeps going. Presses back up. Technically, you have a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. You need a higher low, but even if you're going for a higher low, you're a counter trend to the overall bias, which is a little riskier. localized low, first entry short, second entry short. Unfortunately, no good signal bar here. Then presses down. Keeps moving down. Potential fail breakout here. It's a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Seeing this in real time, I'm not ready to take a short. Then when it confirms second entry short, it didn't close below the EMA, but it looks like it's moving back into the gray down channel. So this is just kind of an almost there, but not quite there. There's a couple of reasons why it's not the best or makes me hesitant. Didn't close at the low. EMA could still act as something, but it looks like it's pressing into this gray down channel. And I'm thinking, if anything, the EMA could act as a support in conjunction with the fact that the break of this red up channel might want to test the high before it resumes back into the gray down channel. It just gets whippy. Now it doesn't look like it's moving back into the gray channel anymore. It's starting to reverse. Technically a localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short, no setup. Technically have a higher low, but also no setup. Pushes up. I thought it might have been in this developing channel, but it didn't look that great, so I never colored it in. Then it flushes down and resumes the gigantic sell-off. It starts hitting into this sideways consolidation. It's a break of this red down channel. First attempt down, could be a second attempt down, just not the cleanest, not the clearest. You could say this is a localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, but this isn't the best signal bar. I just want more price action to play out before I try to take a trade that might be pushing into the EMA, because I don't know that this is a trading range yet. This trading range was drawn a little bit later, about right here. Then I drew this trading range. But by then, it doesn't help you for a trade that could have happened. So then prices continue moving. I just noticed when I was trading this, there's just like a lot of dojis, a doji here, a doji here, a bunch of dojis, and a lot of candles with small bodies near the middle. So it just leaves me feeling that there's a lot of indecision. So I just have to be extra careful. It creates this fail breakout here, and it creates a second entry long, localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I saw this in real time, potential fail breakout here. So I'm expecting another fail breakout up here. I wanted this, so you don't know it's going to be a second entry long till you get to this. By the time this happens, it feels like it was first entry, pullback, push back up, second entry. I wasn't confident in taking an entry or getting one ready until I saw what the next candle did. And by the time this one closed, it feels like the trade has run away. So the best you can hope for is a higher low, which also would create a potential first entry short, second entry short failure. So this could be your higher low, but I'm not crazy about this candle. Then this could now be the higher low, but again, now I'm super unhappy with this being a doji because it just shows indecision. Plus, prices have pressed to the top now. So this fail breakout might not necessarily create a fail breakout on this side. And it doesn't, it just flushes down. So prices continue moving down, break this red down channel, test the low, localized low, the first entry short. You don't really get a second entry short, but things are just, I mean, you can technically get a first entry short, second entry short here, but I felt this is just a little bit out in the middle of nowhere. I'm thinking the green up channel could test the high, so it's just a little ambiguous for me. The price is chop. It creates what I thought might have been a trade here because this is a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short technically has failed. You can also see this as a visual, first entry long pullback, second entry long push down, could be a higher low. But I didn't even bother marking it as an almost trade because this is me looking at this in real time, thinking I see something, but I don't want to. And now in hindsight, I'm not really sure there was anything here. So it was something I marked in real time just to make sure I kind of dial these potential urges down, because this is something that if it closed with a better signal bar, I'm not 100% sure what I would have done. I might have been motivated to take a trade because as you can see, it's already 9:50 Pacific Standard. I haven't taken a trade all day, and seeing this big move and these chops definitely affected my mental outlook. So I was thinking I could get, I guess, lured into taking a poor trade. So I marked this, wrote in my notes, just something that I have to be extra careful of because I usually try to stop trading, taking any good, well, right around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard. I usually kind of call it. I'll still watch the charts, but I'll be more, I guess, after 10 a.m. Pacific Standard, I become even more conservative, especially if I already have a trade that's positive. But if I haven't taken a trade yet, then I'm super careful that I'm not I guess, hallucinating and creating setups for myself just because I feel like I need to take a trade on a day like this where I thought, oh, if I could have just gotten on this big move down, would have been profitable. So just something I'm working on, mental note to myself. The prices then continue moving up. You do have a setup here, which I actually thought was a real setup, but by then I wasn't too sure what was going on. I mean, excuse me, I had an idea what was going on, but I wasn't quite as sharp anymore. So it's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, pushes down and goes back up. So there's a potential second entry long right here. So it's first entry long pullback, second entry long because it broke above this guy, and you have a potential triple test. It made one attempt, two attempt, three attempt. Plus, it had this trend line, trend channel support bounce and EMA bounce. So I actually thought this is an actually decent trade, probably the trade of the day. But unfortunately, I wasn't mentally there to try to jump in on this. And that's unfortunate because it's a good signal bar close as well. So this would have worked for a 2-point scalp. The prices continue jumping, pushes up, break of this orange up channel is tested the high, pushes down. You have a one touch, two touch. Even if you group these together, you have 1, 2, 3, undeniable 4 touches, some kind of support here. Pushes up. That's where I decided to turn this into a range. So new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, it's a bad signal bar. Pushes down, potential fail breakout of this trading range. Just gets a little noisy. It's new low, first entry short, pushes the high. I'm expecting a fail breakout, symmetric in size to about this thing. Pushes out, so it creates your fail breakout. I'm expecting prices to move back into range now, and it does, which is great. So first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long failure right here. Second entry long failure. I was looking for a lower high, but this, I should have marked it, but this was actually probably a good enough trade. Failed second entry long because it is at the high of the range. So admittedly, in real time, I didn't quite analyze it like I did, like I'm doing now. So this is the benefit of hindsight, reviewing my charts after the fact, because now I'm more calm. I kind of can see things a little clearly without the anticipation of trying to jump in on something. So there's actually a possible trade right here, failed second entry long. Prices then continue moving because another failed breakout pushes up. So first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and it gives you a lower high. I thought this is a possible trade. It's a lower high confirming the second entry short, and it's coming from failed breakout. It looks like it's moving back into range, and this orange up channel has tested the high already. So the way things are looking, this is a pretty good chance to at least give you 1 2-point scalp. The prices continue moving. It's toward the low side, so now I'm wondering if things are going to move back in now because before, it was just pushing up and down, up and down, up and down. Now this is a slower push, more deliberate, more candles, and more of a gradual sell-off. So I'm not sure if prices are going to move back in. My intuition tells me it's probably going to start failing and pushing to the low side, kind of resuming the large sell-off that happened previously, but I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I was just thinking that was going to happen. So it starts pushing down. I draw this orange down channel. No real way to enter in on this safely, in my opinion. You have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. It's kind of a bad signal bar. They kind of chops sideways. Hard to trade this. EMA is coming into play. Pushes up and out. So you do have a new low. It's a first entry short pullback. Technically, you have a second entry short. I wasn't the biggest fan of this because I was also thinking that potentially this green up channel could test the high. Then it gives you this higher low. It looks like it's a visual first entry long pullback, second entry long, or by the technical count, first entry long pullback, second entry long, technically a higher low right here. And I thought this is a possible trade, and it's a bounce off the EMA. This red up channel doesn't exist yet, so you couldn't really use that. Kind of chops around. This red channel does, at least the support side looks pretty good. Pushes the high side. I never colored it in because I couldn't justify it as a channel yet, so more likely the best I could hope for is a trend line support. But then it kind of pushes, sells off, breaks below the EMA, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, also localized high, first entry long, second entry long, maybe a triple test, but this is kind of late in the day, so I didn't really like that the EMA is cutting right through this. Kind of running out of time because I got to book it, but then it kind of gets noisy and into the close. So Kind of an interesting day. Didn't take any trades. I'm okay with that. There was probably a really decent trade I could have taken, which is that second entry long triple test, which is right here. And in hindsight, I didn't see it in real time, but in hindsight, it's probably something worth taking. So hopefully that was helpful.